Hey guys, we're getting ready to do some algebra. Here, this is AWP, page 104. It's meant to be more practice for you to factor. So let's get started on that right now. So what I've done here is I've chosen 3 of the problems which should be representative of what you're doing. I've made problems that are like them that you can try out, and then I have the actual answer over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the left side. We're going to work on those. Let me see if I could zoom in a little bit for you. And zoom in. There we go. Maybe too much. And we're going to try the one on the right. So this is meant to be practice for letter G. And what I see here is that all 3 of these, they have an N. So I'm going to do an N. Wise Money says put N to the smallest power that you see, and the smallest power I see is that 1 power right there. Take a look at the coefficients. You got 1, 9, and 14, and think about the greatest common factor of those. And well, hint, if you see a 1, then the greatest common factor is 1. So there's no greatest common factor to undistribute, as it were. So if I factor out that N, what do I get? I get an N cubed and I just caught a mistake actually. This shouldn't be to the 4th power, this should be cubed. So we're going to change that to N squared over here. So that's N squared. Again, apologies, that's kind of embarrassing. But like, it's always kind of embarrassing. Okay, so N squared, sorry. Okay, so we got N squared plus 9N plus 14 equals 0. Then we'll go ahead and do a quick x method. It's going to be the xez because the coefficient for n squared is 1 over here. So up on top is a 14, down on bottom is a 9. Let's think of 2 numbers that multiply to make 14, add to make 9. You're right, that's positive 2 and positive 7. I hope you guys are seeing these things really quickly now. N plus 2, N plus 7 equals 0. And now that we have 3 factors, we're going to set each one of them equal to 0. But you have my blessing to do the quick method here. Quick method says that, well, for this one, N is equal to 0. For this second one, N equals negative 2. And for this last one, N equals negative 7. So that's not so bad, really. Let's take a look at the actual problem on the AWP 104. Again, I made a mistake. That should be to the 3rd power. And, okay, take a minute here, and first step is going to be for you to factor out the common factor. I see another problem. This was supposed to be an N. So factor out the common factor and pause it right now. Okay, there you go. We have factored out the N. Next time I'm going to pause, I'm going to have you factor N squared plus 8N plus 12. So pause it now. There we go. N plus 2, N plus 6. Don't forget the other N over there. And now, this time when we pause it, you're going to go ahead and give me the answers. So pause it now, get the answers. There we go. As I was thinking about this, I said get the answers. These are really the roots of the equation. That's just a fancy word of saying that's where the polynomial is equal to 0, the roots. Maybe we should use that later. Okay, let's go on to our next problem, which is letter D. We've got a little leveled up here. We've got a cubed plus 3a squared equals 4a. So as I've said in a lot of the previous videos, if you're solving polynomials like this, you want to make one side of them equal to 0. So let's do this. Let's subtract 4a from both sides of the equal sign. Let's kind of do this old school too. This is the way we did it in class. We did color-coded that with red so you can see exactly what was going on. We're subtracting 4a from both sides. Okay, so I've subtracted 4a from both sides. The left side, not going to do any work on it because we're taking this slow. And on the right side, you can see you got 4a minus 4a. That's a 0. And then now this problem becomes just like the one that we just did. There is an a on every term, and there are no greatest common factors to divide out of everything. So it's okay for us just to factor out that a, and we'll get a squared plus 3a minus 4 equals 0. Ooh, forgot a parenthesis. All right, do a quick x method if you are one of those people who don't need to do an x anymore, and I think there are some of you out there, and congratulations, you're doing it right. Okay, so we need two numbers to multiply to make -4, add to make -3. So what are they? Well, sorry, they have to add to make +3. Now, how about +4 and -1? I think that works. So you get a plus 4, a minus 1, all right, good job. Now we have a 0 on the right side. We're going to go and factor out the common factor. I think you know what it is. And you see all those a's there. So factor out the common factor. Pause. All right, if you said that every term has an a, you're correct. Last thing you want to do is go ahead and do the x method and factor this. Remember, this is xez method because in front of this quadratic term, the second degree term, the coefficient is 1. It's a silent 1, but it's still a 1. All right, go ahead and do that right now. Pause. Good job. You've successfully substituted u for x. And now at this point, I think it's time for you to factor in terms of u. So go ahead and factor. I'm going to pause it to give you time, or you should push pause and factor it. Well, now that we're factored in terms of u, maybe we should change those u's back into what they originally were, which was an x squared. So let's do that right now. This becomes x squared minus 9, and x squared minus 1 equals 0. Last pause here. I think this is going to be the last pause. You're going to go ahead and factor these. Notice that this is x squared. That's a 9, which is 3 times 3, so it's a difference of squares. X squared and 1, so that's a difference of squares again. So I'm thinking this is a sum and difference formula. So pause it right now and factor. Well, there it is, factored. All you have to do now is apply the zero product theorem and solve each one of these monomials. So the first factored monomial, this is a binomial actually. Why am I saying monomial? This binomial right here, do it with me, that's x equals 3. Second one, x equals -3. Third one, x equals 1. And finally, x equals -1. So that's it. That's everything that I wanted to go over. Hopefully you're going to have success in this AWP page 104. So go out there and rule the world. See you guys next time.